What's up, dinos? Welcome back to another, real talk video, I guess? A dino stories video. I like to call these, like, dino stories. And before we get into the real meat and potatoes of the video, the real topic, I wanted to show to you this amazing mod pack that I installed for Minecraft. It's been making my experience playing Minecraft very refreshing. And there's another thing that I started doing that made Minecraft a lot more enjoyable for me, but I'll get to that later in the video. But I just wanted to showcase the beauty of this mod pack real quick. When I first opened this game, the first thing I heard was like this ambient wind sound, and I was listening to some music when I booted up the game, but as soon as I heard that ambience, I was like, oh, I gotta turn the music off. And for the majority of the time that I've been playing on this world, I've had like no music, and I've just been taking in the sights and sounds. And I kind of want you to just do that here real quick, just take in like the ambience. I promise I'll start talking again here in a minute, and we'll get into what you probably clicked on this video for with the title and thumbnail, but just take a look. I just wanted to talk about a big thing that I started doing that's sort of made me who I am today. And who I am today, I am a person who can truthfully say that I love myself. I'm proud of who I am as a person now. I'm much more patient than I used to be, because I used to be very impulsive, reactive, and very, very afraid of just like everything. I used to be paralyzed by just the sheer amount of weight in this world and just being alive and just from every aspect of it. I used to be very standoffish, especially with people who I felt didn't align with my interests. I wasn't really ever an asshole, although I have had, especially last year, phases where I was an asshole towards people who didn't really deserve it. But other than those times, I've generally mostly just been very closed off with my emotions towards people and not very outgoing or confident, and not very confident in myself in general. And up until almost 2 years ago, I had literally no friends. At least nobody aside from family who I really wanted to be in my life, right? And it's been like that for most of my life, but these last few years in particular, when I've had to become an adult, a lot of my issues from growing up kind of caught up to me and hit me all at once. And that's just talking about the mental side of things. I've already made a video talking about my physical disability and all the pain that caused me and everything that made me go through. If I remember, I'll put that in a little time card on the video here. But with these last couple years of pain, that is the absolute best word I can use to describe my experience from the last couple years. And just everything I was going through really just forced me. It was either I had two options: give up and roll over, or find a better way. A better way to live, a better way to think, a better way to just see everything. So, looking back now, in the background, my mind was always working on the better option of not giving up and learning to get better. But back then, it just felt like utter hopelessness. Even though I was doing things that were going to help in the long run, at the time it just did not feel like it. Like, it really felt like just utter hopelessness. And I've had moments of just laying in bed, or sometimes on the floor or on the bathroom floor, just wishing I was dead. And in the moment, it felt terrible, but that was actually exactly what I needed, because it forced me to put everything into perspective. It forced me to think about my place in the world, how I feel about myself, how I feel about the world itself. And after many, many incidents of losing the will to live out of despair, that very particular place and feeling that I discovered, I call it the void because I can't think of any other way to describe it. Just the absolute concept of just not existing anymore and just not even being, just no longer existing. For a while, it was my only way to cope with living, because I was able to imagine a place where I didn't have to worry about everything anymore. And for a while, it was a very negative thing, because it was a sad thing, right? Because I wanted to escape to that. I wanted to die. But it eventually became a comforting place for me. A place where I could go and know that I don't have to worry about anything. But that sadness started to go away. I just learned to see the positivity in the void without thinking that I needed to be there for eternity right now. Obviously, I am going to end up dead at some point, whatever the afterlife is, I guess I won't know until it happens, but whether there is something afterwards or if there's nothing. But I just found a very safe and comforting place for myself in the void, and it eventually became something more positive than negative for myself. Me finding peace in death and no longer fearing it, but actually seeing it as a comforting thing, I guess that was just something I needed to think about my whole life and just come to terms with, because since then, since I had that revelation, a lot of things have gotten a lot easier. Because, like, when you fear death, what else is there to fear? And that's what I was thinking for a little bit, but then I started to think, okay, but what about fearing pain? What about fearing being alive? If I'm okay with dying, then at least I have something to look forward to after life is over, but how do I find a way to be happy while I'm still alive? Because I know I don't want to end it. I just don't have that urge anymore. And I've kind of just had to put things into perspective, and I've had to think about, why do I fear pain? Why do I fear being alone? Why do I fear, like, how people think about me? Why do I fear being stuck in the same place for the rest of my life? Why do I fear being disabled for the rest of my life? And it eventually got to a point where I was like, what if I just tried to find the positives regardless of my situation? And putting things into perspective like that, I've realized some things that I've worried about were things that I never should have worried about in the first place, but they were things that people told me I needed to worry about. Having to make something for myself, being, successful and famous, being a household name, that has been a desire of mine for a long time. After sitting with it for a while and thinking on it, I realized it wasn't something I wanted. It was something the world wanted for me. If you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, think Zuko. How his character arc is about him going against his nature and obsessing over things that he thinks he wants and he thinks he needs, but were just things that were thrown on him by external sources, and it caused him to be at war with himself for so long. So I hope that paints a good picture of where I've been my whole life. I wasn't necessarily hunting a bald kid and saying I needed to restore my honor, but I definitely relate with feeling at war with yourself and going against your nature. And I also relate with not even knowing that that was the issue, thinking that I'm the issue. I need to do what's expected of me. I need to live up to everything that's been cast on me. And I eventually got to a point where I realized that I don't owe anyone anything. The only person that I should truly be living for is myself, because nobody ever has or ever will truly understand me like I do. I talked about this in another video that hopefully I'll remember to put in a time card. The beauty of reconnecting with my inner child and realizing that he never left and he was always there, and he's the one I need to be focusing on. He's the most important person in my life. I realized that there was no one I needed to pay more attention to than me. And that might sound narcissistic, but the key difference between what I feel with my self-confidence and self-love and narcissism and just being a douchebag is I don't expect other people to owe me anything. I don't expect other people to feel the same way about me that I feel about myself, because I think they should be doing that for themselves. I do want to see people living their best lives, but that's also something that I don't need to overly worry about. I do want to help people. I've always had the urge to help people, but the key difference now is I don't feel like I need to obsess over them anymore. I don't feel like external sources, whether it be things or other people, are what are going to make me completely fulfilled. I no longer feel like those are the things that are going to fill the void in my heart, because the only thing that can fill the void in my heart is myself and my own self-love. And as a result of that, I've actually grown to appreciate other people more, because I don't see them as how they can be useful to me. When I feel love, it's no longer a selfish thing. It comes from a place of respect and appreciation for those I love. It's no longer exclusively, I love this person because they treat me a certain way. It's evolved into, I appreciate this person for who they are, and I have a lot of respect for them. No longer do I feel like, this person is for me, this person is mine. Because another thing that I had to come to terms with, especially after losing a lot of the friends that I made a couple years ago, from us just going our separate ways, was I had to be okay with the idea that everything I love is very temporary, and a lot of things that I love I'm gonna lose before I leave this world, right? And I think that's something that we all know, but it's not something that we want to face, and it certainly was something that I didn't want to face. I didn't want to confront that thought. But what I've come to learn in these last couple years is those scary thoughts, when I face them, it is extremely difficult and it can be extremely painful and scary, but if I push through it, I come out much stronger than I even could have remotely imagined before. Now, believe it or not, I'm actually not on the main topic of the video yet. I've kind of been pussyfooting around it, but I feel like everything I've said up to this point was necessary so you could fully understand the main topic. One thing that's very important to me now is just being gentle with myself. Like, my entire life, I've tried to brute force myself through things. I've tried to force myself to do things. I've tried to motivate myself to do things. Tried to tell myself to just suck it up and just do it when it comes to important things or self-growth or trying to get past some sort of obstacle in my life. But all that's ever done is fail me. Being tough on myself has never worked out for me. It's only ever led me to ruin. But even in just this short amount of time in my life where I've decided to be gentle on myself and be patient with myself and easy with myself, I've accomplished so much more mentally, physically, emotionally, creatively, relationship-wise than I ever have in my entire life, like, collectively. And this is just from not even half a month of just focusing on myself and trying to make myself better. I've already accomplished things that I've tried spending my whole lifetime to achieve. So when I have something that I need to do, no longer do I tell myself, you are weak for not doing this thing or not doing it well enough, and you need to get back up and just do it. Constantly, I've been told that that's the way you need to motivate yourself, but what I've realized is that is the absolute worst thing that I can do. Instead, when I fail at something or need to start doing something, I ease myself into it. I'm patient with myself, I'm kind with myself, I accept that maybe I don't want to do it, or that it's going to be hard, and I just reassure myself and I say that it's going to be okay. Even when I fail, I'm going to be there for myself, and I'm going to be kind for myself, because nobody else can do that for me. Even if I had someone who I was closer with, and I have had people who I thought were like that for me, but it apparently just wasn't meant to be, even people like that will not ever be able to understand me the way I understand myself, which is perfectly fine. That might be a depressing thought, but to me it just takes a lot of pressure away. No longer do I feel like, oh, when I have this type of person in my life, I'll be happier. I've come to realize that that type of person was always there for me, and he's me. So in the beginning of the video, I said there was another thing that makes playing Minecraft a lot easier, and that's having patience, just learning how to take in the little things. Of course, this doesn't just apply to Minecraft, this is just how I view life in general now. But Minecraft is a great example for this because I know a lot of us experience immense burnout with Minecraft these days. We have a hard time having fun with it for long periods of time. But now that I have a new approach to life with just learning to appreciate the little things, which is a concept that I've been familiar with for a long time, but I never really practiced it, and I never really fully thought about what that means until relatively recently. And it's fucking beautiful. It makes life so much easier to enjoy. I need so much less out of life now. I'm able to appreciate what little I have left in my life at this point, and I just get so much more pleasure out of appreciating the things that have true meaning to me over having a bunch of superficial things. This mindset did not come easy. I've talked about this before in other videos when I've talked about certain things that I'm able to do now because of my self-growth. It required a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of facing my demons. But the more and more I did that stuff, the stronger I became, and the more I learned. And my headspace is just so much clearer now compared to how it was even just a few months ago. It's actually insane how much more at peace I am compared to how I was before. I can even be put in situations that used to make me uncomfortable, and I'm able to face them a lot easier now. Because one thing that I've been conflicted about for a while, ever since I've started to become more at peace, was, well, maybe it's only so easy because I'm at home all the time and I'm in my environment, you know, I'm in my comfort space, so to speak. I'm able to do the things that I want. But thankfully, a lot of that meditation and patience and self-growth has paid off to where even when I'm in situations I'm not comfortable in, I'm still able to be at peace and not get as overstimulated as I used to be and not get stressed out like I used to be. I certainly would prefer to stay in my space, but to be honest, I learn new things when I go out of my comfort zone once in a while, and I'm just able to appreciate life so much more. I'm even warming up to things I didn't used to like, things that used to terrify me, which is something that I'd never thought I'd be able to say, but I'm just so happy and so proud of myself that I'm at this point now. Yeah, I typically don't like to have any, like, lessons to teach the viewers of my videos. I like to just talk about my experiences, and whether or not they help people is, well, I guess that's up to you, huh? But these videos help me because I'm able to express myself in a very low effort and cozy way. I just wanted to emphasize how important it is to me that being gentle with myself gets me much farther in life than if I was hard on myself. And if you were to take anything away from this video, I would say, don't be so hard on yourself. There's a way to get yourself to do things and to go through hard things without making yourself your own enemy, without acting like a drill sergeant to yourself. You can be soft on yourself and still accomplish things. At least that's how it is for me. And maybe one more takeaway you could get out of this video is boot up Minecraft and just walk around and just listen. Take in the sights. Don't have a goal. Just walk around and listen. Open up peaceful mode if you need to. Just don't have any music playing. Don't have a podcast playing. Don't have a video playing in the background. Just take in the game for what it is. And maybe you'll find that you can do that with other things in life. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching. If anybody stumbled across this video, I hope you have a good one.